This is part 6D on the duct design series of videos, return airs 4 and 5. When we examine the return airs down in the basement, you should notice that there is a cross in this symbol. So this is that should tell you that the return air is originating in the second floor. So if we examine the second floor, we can see that R1 is at the top of the stairs, centrally located in the hallway, and R5 is located in the master bedroom. Now typically on a second floor, we want to place the grills in a high wall position so that the bottom of the grill is approximately 1 foot down from the ceiling. So in general, or typically, that would leave the high wall grill at approximately 7 feet above the floor level of the room that it's in. Now we can see that we've got both of these grills are going to be the same, so they will be high wall grills. And so we would be looking at a D10 fitting. That's simply a grill on the side of the wall. So when we look at our equivalent length, we can see we've got the 2 D10 fittings there. The next is our stud to joist. If we examine R4, we see that R4 originates here at the top of the stairs. As it travels down towards the basement, it simply travels straight down through the second floor wall, straight through into the first floor wall, straight down into the basement, where it turns and jogs over to the return duct. For R5, we can see that R5 is in this partition. And so when we look at the first floor, we should notice that the return air is coming down parallel with the floor joists in the ceiling of the dining room. That means that this wall is running parallel with the floor joists in the dining room ceiling. So because of that, you need to use fitting B25. You'll notice that the wall is parallel with the floor joists. However, very shortly thereafter, the air has to turn into the top of this wall, and so now we are back to the A15 fitting. As we continue further down into the basement, we encounter a second A15 to allow the air to travel through the joists over to the duct, return duct. So for R5, we can see there's one B25 fitting and A2 at 30. That would be 2 times 15 feet. Now for A4, the air is entering the duct somewhere between the furnace and the most remote. And so therefore, we would be using an A2 that's worth 60 feet. The turbulence, it's a bit debatable as to whether there is in fact turbulence here, because the air from R4 only travels a very short distance and it starts to enter into the return duct. However, R5 is in close proximity and could present some turbulence effects, and so rather than be air on the small side, we would include 40 feet just to be on the safe side. Once again, the air must travel through the expanded collar and the base elbow, but notice now the air is entering the duct beyond the transition. And so the transition is no longer affecting either R4 or R5, and therefore it is not included in these calculations. When we measure the total distance of these runs, don't forget that on drawings like this, you can only measure the horizontal distances. And so always remember that with a typical second floor return that is approximately 7 feet high on the wall on the second floor, you will have excuse me you will have a total of 23 feet of vertical height that you must include in the overall length of these runs. When we do our measuring, we find, just as pure coincidence, both runs equal 27 feet of actual length. However, with the additional joist to duct and the turbulence, the effective value for R4 is quite a bit higher.